Can you see a lot of the car or just a touch?
Just sort of a little bit of it, about that much.
Right, okay, that's fine, mate. So all you need to do now is press the other button down, the left-hand button.
That one?
Yeah, all the way down. Okay, and you can adjust this mirror as well now using the same things. Well, what we'll do then, we're going to now move on to the actual controls of the car.
I know what they are.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you do. And all I'm going to do, I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs or anything like that, mate. I'm just going to ask you what you know and what you don't know. And we're going to start off with the pedals down there. All right. Yeah. So you say you know what they are. So can you tell me what all the 3 pedals are down there?
It's your clutches there, isn't it?
Yep, that's right.
And then middle one's your brake pedal.
Yep.
And then right one's your accelerator.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
So we've got accelerator, brake, clutch, or clutch, brake, and accelerator, as you said there. Okay. So let's start with the far right one then, the accelerator. All right. Which foot do you use on that? Do you know?
Well, that's nearest foot to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
okay. That's good, that. Okay. Right foot. But what you really want to try and do, I noticed then when you put your foot on the pedal, you put your foot right over the pedal and really pushed it all the way down. Just try and be gentle with it and just use the ball of your right foot, because what you really want to do is have control. So maybe keep your heel on the floor and just place the ball of your right foot on it. Okay, yeah. Because the other thing as well is remember, that right foot is also going to be used on the brake, so you need to be able to swap and change. And if your foot's too far up, you might not be able to do that as easy onto the brake.
Right.
Okay, so we know where it is. We need to use it nice and gentle, a little bit of care with it, because obviously that's going to increase and decrease the speed. And if we treat that nice, the car will be smooth, we'll have good acceleration sense, and the car will really drive well. Okay, so that's where it is. As we say, it increases, decreases speed really. All right, I'm not going to go into all the ignitions and side of that. You might know more about it than what I do if you've been working on your car with your dad. But at the end of the day, treat it gently. Now, the instructions that I'm going to give you for that is, one of the things we're going to use is set the gas. Yes. We're going to call it the gas pedal, all right, instead of the accelerator, because accelerator is a fairly big word, but we're going to use set the gas.
Okay.
And basically all that is just going to touch it slightly, so we increase the engine revs, so we get a nice even hum out the engine. All right, and we're going to be doing that just before we come to move away. Then the instructions will be a little more gas, a little less gas, or off the gas.
So I just kind of do what you're saying, like
yep.
say more, push
yep.
it down.
Yeah, but just nice and easy, nice and gentle, just tiny little bits to start with until we get used to it, and you'll get the feel of it. And once we start the engine up later on, you'll be able to see exactly how gentle and easy you need to touch that to make some difference.
All right.
Okay? So, but I'll remind you about those instructions as we're going through. I'll be using those all the time. Next one then along, as you said, is the brake. Okay? Again, which foot do we use on the brake?
Well, you said it had to be that one, didn't you? Because I had to move from one to other.
That's it. Well, you don't want to really be accelerating and braking at the same time, do you? Okay, so right foot, yeah. And all you really need to do is have your heel in a position where you can go onto the accelerator and come onto the brake. But again, using the ball of your foot on the brake, because if you use your toes or you use further towards the arch of your foot, you're not going to have that control. All right. If you've just got the ball of your foot, you're going to be able to put the most pressure on that brake if need be. But again, we're going to use it nice and gentle. Now, when you press that brake, all right, do you know what happens?
Yeah, car slows down.
Yeah, it does. Brilliant. All right. And what it's doing really, it's putting the brakes on all the 4 wheels. All right. What else does it do as well as slows the car down? Any ideas? You will have as soon as I say it to you. You've seen the brake lights on the back of the cars?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you press that, they come on as well. So it's letting people know behind that you're actually slowing down and stopping.
All right.
Okay? So, again with that one then, we know where it is, we know what it does. We want to be treating it gentle. We don't want to be whacking your foot down on there. We're going to use it progressively. All right, so that's starting off with a little bit of pressure, gradually increasing the pressure. Okay, and as your car gently comes to a rest, then you'll just ease it back slightly so that we get any jerks. Okay, so the instructions that I'm going to use on that, again, is going to be, all right, cover the brake to start with, so just pressing your foot over it, but not actually touching it. Yep. Yeah. All right, and then we're going to have a little brake, all right, or gently brake to stop. We'll use those as we come along, or off your brake. It all depends really of what's happening in front of us as we're driving along, Nick.
Okay. Okay,
but we want to be treating it with care. Don't want to be stamping his foot down on it. All right. Any questions on those two to start with? Right. So the next pedal along then, clutch pedal.
Yeah.
Okay. left foot on this one. Again, you remember what part of the foot that we said we were going to use
Ball of
on?
your foot.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
Just
All
gently.
right. Yeah, but this one you can press it all the way down to the floor. All right, no need to worry about that because
Not like
that.
other ones then.
No, you can press that all the way down. Do you know what that does more than anything else?
Not really. I've not had a go with clutch.
Well, the clutch is really there to help us or to assist us when moving off smoothly. All right, that helps us move away smoothly or assists us. All right, it's also there to keep the engine running when we come to rest, and it also helps us when we're changing gears. And the way that does that in a simple form, you've like got two plates. When the clutch is up in that position there, these two plates are fastened hard together.
Where it is now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, as you press that clutch down, what happens is these two plates part. All right, and what you've got is one's fastened to your engine. So whenever your engine's turning, this one's turning. All right, this one's fastened to your wheels through your gearbox, but we're not going too much depth than that. All right, so what you've got this one turning with your clutch down. As you bring them up together, when it's in gear, they start to touch, and the friction caused between them will start this one to turn, and that's actually how you get the car to move away.
Oh.
Don't worry too much about it. I know it
Right.
sounds complicated, but when I give you instructions, mate, you'll have no problems at all with that.
Okay.
You don't really need to know all the ins and outs of a car. You don't have to be a mechanic. All right. So what we'll do now, we'll move on to the main hand controls, starting with the steering wheel.
That's easy, is that, isn't it? You just
Okay.
turn it.
Well, yeah, you do. Yeah, you just turn that. But the thing is what we've got to do, we've got to be in control when we're turning that. All right, and we use what we call a pull-push method. How's your dad steer? What system does he use? Do you know? Have you watched him at all?
Yeah. Sometimes he says I shouldn't do it, but he kind of swings his hand around like that.
Okay.
And then sometimes he does it properly. Like that.
All right, so he's crossing his hands when he does it. Well, what we're going to do, we don't want you to do either of those methods. We're going to use something that's called pull-push. And what that really allows us to do is keep his hands on the steering wheel at all times.
All right.
Okay, and all we're really going to be doing here is we're just going to be, let's say for instance we're going to turn right. If you want to place your hands first of all in the driving position, which is going to be about 10 to 3. All right, 10 to 2 should I say, not 10 to 3.
Like that.
Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do, if we're going to be turning right, what you'd do, you'd slide your right hand up towards the centre of the steering wheel at the top. Okay. Yeah. And then what you'd do is you grip with that hand, and you can't do it now because obviously the steering wheel ain't going to move much because obviously the wheels are on the floor. But all you'd really do is as you grip with this hand, you'd pull down and let this hand slide. And as they then came up together, down to the bottom, then all you're really doing is changing grips then. So you've pulled down with this hand, now change grips, so you're letting go with that one and sliding up. So all it's doing is sliding one hand through and the other hand through. All right. So you've got hands on the steering wheel all the time. All right. Whereas if you're crossing hands, as your dad was saying in this, all right, you haven't got as much control, and we need to ensure that you've got control. But we're going to practice that. We can practice that in car parks and what have you to make sure that you get real control. If you're going to be turning left, you do just the opposite. So you pull down with that hand and slide down with this hand. Okay. If you want to practice that, we've got something in the back of the car that we could get out that will actually help you practice that later on.
All right.
Okay, so you can see exactly how it works. You don't really want to be turning the steering wheel at this point anyway because it could damage the tyres and the steering mechanism. Okay, but it's nice and easy, nice and gentle, no quick steering movements or anything else. It's like anything else, treat it with care as we've done with the pedals, and we're not going to have any issues at all, mate.
Okay.
All right. So steering, let's think about the handbrake. Okay.
Yeah, I know how that works.
Okay, well I'm just going to put my foot on this dual control now so it doesn't roll away. You said you know how it worked. How do you work that then?
Yank it up and
Okay.
then push it down.
Brilliant, okay. What about putting it back on then?
You just pull it back up again
Okay.
afterwards.
It's good, fine, okay. But just to make it a little bit better, just bob that back in when you're pulling it back up. Okay, and then let it go.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, making sure that it's on. Now the thing is with this one, and I'm taking my foot off now so don't release it again, otherwise we might roll away from here. All right, difference with this one is that we don't have any brake lights on the back with this handbrake. All right, and it only works on the rear wheels. So we use this for securing the car, not for slowing down and stopping, same as a foot brake.
All right, yeah. Oh, does that work on all wheels then?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
And that just works on back?
That just works on the back wheels, yeah.
And your brake lights don't come on?
No, they don't, mate.
Okay.
No. Okay. So we only want to be using that really once the car's stopped. Once we've stopped, then put the handbrake on so the car's secure. Gear lever next. All right. Now we use this in conjunction with the clutch, as we said. It helps us for the changing gears and everything else. All right.